Boxing King Media in association with Boxro here in London with Mr. Jeff Powell from the Daily Mail. Have you seen this sort of event before for like a red carpet type event for a big show before in the UK?
In the UK, yes, we have. I forget which the last one was. We've had 2 or 3 similar to this, and they do a lot of them in the States, of course, in the US. Especially if you're fighting Los Angeles, they do a red carpet job every time. But it's nice to see. It's an interesting venue. I haven't conquered the internet, so I don't know anything about the outernet. But we'll see where we go.
Fair point. Obviously, this fight, a lot of people were against it, some were for it. Were you against it? I can't remember chatting to you about it.
I'm ambivalent about it. I can see the historical connotation of it. It's a pretense at the third fight that never happened between their fathers, and so it's had a lot of nostalgia going for it as well. In fact, I think more nostalgia than there is in this is a valid big fight. It's a fight that's wonderfully easy to market, and it's sold to the public on the back of Nigel and Eubank Senior, and good luck to everybody. Whether it's a contest remains to be seen, and what the quality of the fight is remains to be seen.
And what about the concerns? Obviously, Eubank Senior's come out and said that he's going to boycott this event. Nobody knows whether he's joking or if he's being serious. You must have you've got experience with Mr. Senior himself. What do you think?
Yeah, simply the best. He's a great showman. He's doing his bit to help sell the event. I'm sure he doesn't think that Chris is in any great danger in this fight. A matter of 2 or 3 pounds. Just been looking at pictures of him from his last training session. He looks extremely fit and quite lean, not over muscled. So we're 4 or 5 days away from the fight, and he looks to me like he'd be there now. Maybe a last little trim the day before the weigh-in, but I don't think he looks as if he's had any trouble making the weight, and he doesn't even look gaunt in the face. If anything, he looks quite sort of plump in the face, so it suggests to me that he's making the weight quite easily. I think it was a nice argument. Senior always likes to affect an eccentric position. We go from the eccentricity of Chris to the enigma that is Chris Jr.
Definitely. Do you make anything of all the videos that Chris Jr.'s put out of himself eating desserts and steaks and eating whatever he wants?
Well, he's always had a healthy appetite, both for the food and for the ladies, which is most admirable in my opinion. What do I make of it? He's pretty chummy with Conor, but I think he's messing with his head. It's playing games with him, making him think maybe he's going to miss the weight. I very much doubt he'll miss the weight, but it's an amusing form of mind games without being very serious. It's another part of a very clever sell.
Definitely, and an early prediction from you, Jeff. I know you feel Junior's going to do the job. Are you still sticking by that?
Yes, I think so. I won't fall into this few days before the fight till I've seen them at least the last press conference or the weigh-in. I won't sort of settle on when I think it will end, but I would favour Chris at the moment.
And just to finish off, I want to speak to you about Tyson Fury, AJ. News coming out today, it sounds like the fight is off. Have you heard anything?
Suggestions that it's off. Eddie Hearn saying, as far as he's concerned, it's off. But given the complexity of his relationship with AJ now, I don't think that can be taken as definitive. He did quite carefully say, as far as he's concerned, it's off. But AJ has his own management and promotional company, and he has got to make a decision. While I think Eddie might be trying to talk him into economic sense about this, he loses to Tyson and he takes a big downside financially on any future fights. There's a matter of pride for AJ. He answered the challenge immediately and said he'd take the fight. It's now going to look pretty obvious, if it doesn't go through, that it's not Fury who's pulled out, because it's messed up his arrangements. And he has said consistently, in all his various guises, loudmouth or serious or from Arnhem and Bailey's, consistently said, let's get the fight done. So most people with their eyes open will know that it's AJ's side that has pulled out of this fight after his couple of defeats recently. That's not going to look very good for him. It's not a very good look for him at all if he's clearly the one who's backed away. So I wouldn't say it's final. It looks likely that it's been spoiled, which is a pity, because Tyson is concerned that if it doesn't happen now, it might never happen. He goes on and he fights Usyk next year. That fight, as I understand it, is virtually done. It just relies on Tyson not losing any fight he has between now and then. Usyk is totally on board with that, despite speculation of all the other fighters he'd fight. I think that was just keeping Tyson in line. So he's not going to do anything to mess that up. They'll fight in April perhaps, somewhere between March and May. And then you're looking further down the line. If that's a big, great fight, you could have a rematch of that quite easily. When is AJ going to fight Fury? If we go past 2023, there'll be mandatories for Tyson to take care of if he wins. If he loses to Usyk, the luster's gone off the fight completely because they will both have lost to Usyk. And Fury is concerned that the fight might never happen. And I think he's right to be concerned about that. And here was an opportunity to fit in a fight the British public have wanted more than anybody else in the world, for the two of them to finally resolve matters and get it done. It might slip, if we're not careful, into that realm of all the fights that should have happened that didn't.
Definitely. Who does it suit if the fight doesn't get made? Who does it suit?
If it doesn't get made, it doesn't suit either of them, in my view. It suits AJ, perhaps in terms of not having another defeat and tarnishing his earning power, and perhaps even making him decide he doesn't want to do it anymore. So, if the fight doesn't go through, he's not at risk. But I think in terms of his image, it's not a good look at all. And Tyson's got nothing to gain from it. He needs a fight before he fights Usyk. This would another huge money-making mega fight, which he loves the thing. AJ loves doing the big stadium fights. I think the fight's off. They both lose out.
Mr. Powell, as always, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Nice to see you too, as always.
Thank you.